Hey guys, it's Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Today I'm going to show you how to play my solo guitar arrangement of Oh My Love by John Lennon off the Imagine album. So we're basically going to break this up in 3 different sections. The first section is the intro, and it sounds like this. Alright, so before I get into showing you how to play this, it might be easier to follow along the tab that I've created for you guys. So just click the link in the description to grab the tab, and you'll be able to just follow along a lot easier here, and it allows me to go a little bit quicker too. Alright, so I'm assuming you're looking at the tab here, and we're going to take a look at this first section now. This actually is played on the guitar. On the original recording, and then the rest of it I'm just kind of doing an arrangement of the piano and vocal line. So we have basically around a B minor chord. We're in standard tuning, and we're going to pick across, just holding this B minor at the full bar at the 2nd fret, 3rd fret on the B, 4th on the G and the D string. So we're going to pick across from the A string, D string, G string, and then you're going to pick the top 2 strings together. Then all you need to do is move your pinky, leave the rest of the chord there, move your pinky over to the 5th fret on the high E string, and you're going to pick the high E and the D string together. It's kind of a stretch. Now we're going to bump it up to 2 frets to a C sharp minor chord. You're going to pick across the A, D, G, B, and then what you're going to do is just lift off your pinky. So now when you pick the G string, it's going to be the 4th fret there in the bar, and the 4th fret on the high E together. So we have this. You can see that in the tab. Then you go back down to the B minor, and you don't have to move anything around in the left hand this time. You're just going to pick A string, D string, G string, B string, then the D and the high E string together. Then back to the B string, and then we're going to go to an A chord. Now I'm going to play this just with a bar, so I'm going to bar the 2nd fret across the D, G, and the B. So I'm going to pick the open A, D, G, and then I'm going to pick the open A with the B string there that I'm barring. Hammer on 3, pull back up to 2. All right, now we have kind of what is going to be the vocal melody eventually, but it's played on piano first, so this is still the intro, and we have this. So I'll just do that much around that chord. So we're going to have, this is starting the 2nd line of the tab, so we have the open D string with the 5th fret there on the high E, 7 on the G, then 4 on the, you might want to try to make those ring together. You can do it like this. Kind of sounds cool like that, but it requires a little bit of a stretch. So 7 on the D, 4 on the high E, 7 on the B, and then jump down and grab this, which is just a D major chord. Just we're going to do it with a bar across the 2nd fret. So I'm picking the G and the B together. Then while that rings, 2, 4, 5 on the high E string, and then you're going to take that. Get ready with your first finger to come up here and grab that C sharp minor chord. Now at the C sharp minor chord we have this. So that measure is just a bar at the 4th fret. Go ahead and hold a C sharp minor chord. Pick the A and the high E together, then the G and the D, then the G and the the D and the high E together. So we have this, not G, sorry. And then we have 5th fret on the B and the high E together. You can see that in the tab. Then back to the 4th fret, those two 4s on the G and the high E. Then the octave at the 3rd fret of the G string. So that's 3rd fret there, 6th fret on the high E. So we have this. Then to a B minor, which we're going to play like this now. So I'm playing a B minor with a full bar at the 2nd again, but now my middle finger is going to grab that 3rd fret of the B string, 4th fret on the G with the ring finger, pick the A string and the top 3 strings together, then the G string by itself, B and high E with the high E at the 5th fret there, then back to the 2. So here it is. So if you follow along the tab, it'd be a lot easier. And then you're going to lift up the 3rd finger there. I'm just kind of showing you the fingerings here. 2, 3, 5 there. Back to the 3. Then just move this back. 4, 3, 4 there. You can see the fingers I'm using there. Back to the 5th fret. So we have this. And then to an A major chord. Now I like to play this like this. I see that a lot in like a classical guitar because they really want the strings to ring. So if you're barring or playing like this, it's kind of hard to get that high E string in there. So the open A and the open high E, and I'm barring across the 2nd fret of the D and the G, but I'm playing with my middle finger the 2nd fret on the B, so I can really arc that finger. So we have that, and then just pick across, and then I'm going to do a hammer to 2, 3, and grab this high E string above it. Now you're just going to pick 2, 3, 0. You can see that in the tab. All right, so that's it for the intro. Let's take a look at the actual, I don't know, you could call it the first vocal part. All right, so the first phrase in that is played like this. So what we're going to do here is just very similar to what we just did in the intro, except I'm adding on that. You can see that this is starting the tab on the 3rd line of tab. We have that 4 on the G and along with the 4 on the high E string. Instead of this, you have this. And then this is the same. And when you get here to the C sharp minor chord, we kind of have this. So he got that little vocal phrasing there. So we have this, you're going to hold that C sharp minor. So we just have that picking the A and the high E together, then the D and the high E, then the G and the high E. Then those 2 5s that we did earlier. You see how it's a little bit quicker there. So we have that. Back down to that, the chord right there, and then we're going to just pick across this 6, 5, 4. Kind of quieter. It's just kind of an accompaniment part right there. So we have this. All right, next part. All right, so that's from measure 11 and 12. So we're going to start here at the 2nd fret, barring. You're going to play the 2nd fret on the A, 5th on the high E. Then grab the 4th fret on the D string. And now you can grab the 4 on the G and the high E together. And then pick the 2nd fret on the high E by itself. So like this. Then you're going to leave your ring finger where it's at and just reach over and grab the 3rd fret there on the B string. Hit those 3 strings together. Back to the 5th, the A string there, the 2nd fret. And then you still got the bar, so you can play 2 on the high E, then 4. And then what we're going to do is come down here to an A, and you can start it with just the you're playing these three fingers at the top three strings. Second fret on the G, B, and the high E with the open A string, sorry. And then resolve that down to the open high E. Then you can come and reach the second fret there now on the D string. Hammering 2 to 3, that little figure we did earlier. And then you start over pretty much. Now here, instead of doing this, you have this chord right here, which is 6 on the G, 5 on the B, and 6 on the high E. And then we have this to end this first vocal section. All right, so that's based around a B minor again here for this measure, which is measure 15. We have play that B minor like we did earlier. Then that 4 on the G. Then you're gonna pick the 5 and the 3 on the 5 on the high E string. So you gotta reach up there with your pinky. Then lift up that pinky and hit the top 3 strings. And then you're gonna basically bring that pinky back down to the 5th fret on the high E string, with just the 4th fret on the G, 3rd fret on the B, with the low E string on it. Then 5, 4, just all with the pinky. So we have this. As you're there, you can now grab an A major while leaving your pinky here at the 5th fret on the high E string. And then pick across, D, G, hammer 2 to 3 into that open string, just like we did earlier there. All right, and now we have the next vocal section, and it sounds like this. All right, so this part's really cool, but it's a little bit further up the fretboard here. We've got some cool octaves to play. So this first one sounds like this. All right, so that's measure 17 and 18. So we're at this 9th fret here. I'm going to be barring to get both of those notes, but you just need the 5th string and the high E string there. Then grab the 11th fret on the G. Then what we're doing here, combining what was going on in the instrumentation with the vocal line, we have basically 10 on the B and 9 on the high E string. Then reverse those, so it's 9 on the B, 10 on the high E, and then 11 on the G that you're already holding with 9 on the high E. So we have this. Then you're going to jump back and play 7, 5 on the high E string into the C sharp major chord. So we have barring at the 4th fret, and you're going to pick the 6 on the G and the B and the high and 4 on the high E. You see that in the tab, and then we have 6 on the G. And then 4, 5, 7. Let that ring while you're still holding the bottom of the chord. And then just kind of rotate between that top melody note and the 6th fret there on the G. So we have this. Now we have our first octave run, and we have that with an open D underneath it. It sounds like this. All right, so that's pretty cool. We have open D string, and I'm just doing an octave shape here. The 4th fret on the G, 7th fret on the high E string. Now I'm going to take that shape, hit those 3 strings together, and then now how I'm picking the octaves, after that first chord, I'm picking the top note with my middle finger and the bottom note with my thumb. And then the next octave, I'm going to still pick my thumb for the bottom note, but use my index for the next note. So I'm just kind of rotating, alternating the top two fingers. So we have this. So it's 4, 2, 1, 2, 1. Now we go switch to a different octave shape, but still an octave. Second fret there on the high E, fourth on the D. Then over to the third fret on the B and fifth on the D. I mean, fifth on the A string. It's a D note. So we have. Then move up to the fifth. The seventh fret. I'm talking about where the first finger's at. Into an A major chord. So that's just the open A, seventh fret on the D, sixth fret on the G. Then pick across 7, 6, 5 into a C sharp dominant 7 chord. So that is just going to be similar to the chord we played before, like this, but move the third finger over to the D string, the 6th fret. So you have that 4 in there on the G string. Then come over and do a melody note like they did on the piano, which is 6 on the G, 4 on the high E, 7 on the high E. So that takes us back up to the top. All right, so that octave thing one more time. Then the same thing. Now the second octave one is slightly different. So it starts the same. Now when we get to that octave shape where it changes at the second fret there, then take that just down to the first fret. Then over to the third fret on the B. And down to an A major chord. Once again, it's probably cool to play it like this. Or whatever way feels comfortable to you. All right, so now that is really the second section. Now you take those two vocal sections and just play them all over again. And then we have an outro, which is just the piano again. Now that outro section is just of the first vocal part we did. It's the second half of the first vocal part. So it's this section. So it kind of slows down at the end. And then we just have a little bit different ending. When you get to this A chord, just do this. Which is just picking across the D, G, and then a little hammer pull between 2 and 3 on the B string. All right, so that's kind of combining a lot of the acoustic guitar parts, the vocal parts, and the piano parts. It does have a lot of bars, so it can be kind of a challenge, especially on a steel string acoustic. But I think it's well worth the effort. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.